welcome to
The Neapolitan.
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Steph.
My name is Shay.
And my name is Rose. Thank you for tuning into the Neapolitan Scoop Podcast, where you get your weekly scoop. If you have not subscribed to the podcast, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. Today's topic is domestic violence in the music and entertainment industry. Rihanna and Chris Brown, Tina Turner and Ike, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. These three famous couples have, at some point or another, been involved in media due to concerns or not only concerns, right, but actually disputes of domestic violence or domestic violence allegations. On Tuesday, October 31st, 2023, Rosie Dodwell, the director of the Office on Violence Against Women and a branch of the U.S. Department of Justice, posted a blog that stated, data from the last National Intimate Partner in Sexual Violence Survey indicated that 41% of women and 26% of men stated that they had experienced contact sexual violence, physical violence, and or stalking by an intimate partner violence during their lifetime and experience an intimate partner violence related impact. Domestic violence rates are even higher for American Indians, Alaska Native populations, Black individuals, people from communities of colors, those with disabilities, and LGBTQ individuals. We talk a lot here in the podcast about different type of disparities and violence. So today's topic is going to cover one of the ones that we talk about the most. With that being said, let's send it over to Shay for some questions.
All right. So thank you, Rose. First question. So why do a lot of people in the entertainment industry hide that they have been a victim of domestic violence? Why do we think that? Maybe because of their image. Oh, we had a lot of responses.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say too. I think they don't they know a lot of them that they're kind of the that focus point for a lot of people, and they don't want to seem like, oh, look at such and such, they have so much money and they're getting beat up, or look at such and such got 20,000 Grammys but they're still getting beat up. And I think people fail to realize that domestic violence isn't about money. It isn't about who you are. It's just, it happens.
Yeah. What about you, Steph?
I agree. It's the reason that we all have when it comes to domestic violence. I mean, number one, we're in denial about it. We don't want to accept it. Number two, we're embarrassed. And as a public figure, it's increased by 100,000. Because it's embarrassing for people who aren't a public figure to let family and friends know because they're embarrassed. But imagine like when thousands and thousands and millions of people know you, and now you're in a limelight because you're a victim of domestic violence. So it's like a tough pill to swallow. And I think if I was in the spotlight, I wouldn't want to admit, that's another thing. We all try to paint this pretty picture, paint this, life is great, life is this. And as people in the entertainment industry, life is supposed to be so cookie cutter for those people. And when stuff like that happens, we're in denial about it. Same thing with like sexual harassment. A lot of people don't want to admit it, and it happens a lot. So, and then you have to think about also the ties. You have this person that you're dating that is tied to another person that you're like, okay, well, I don't want to put your business out there because you're tied to this person. This person might cut me off, and that's going to cut some of my friends. And now, that could be another thing too, It's like, okay, I'm going to keep it on the hush hush because I don't want to start nothing and mess up the bag.
Yeah.
I
think it's probably similar to what y'all said. So like, just thinking about people in the spotlight, a lot of them if you could think about even just what's happening with Diddy right now, with them and
Mm,
their PR people, the last thing you want is for your client or whatever to be seen negatively, because for one, it affects their ability to be marketable. Nobody wants to market somebody who is labeled as a abuser, or who's labeled as somebody who once did something to like people because of their status, like, oh, I'm famous, so I need you to do this for me because I can help you do this. Like, they don't want to be labeled like that. At the end of
yeah.
the day, I think it comes down to everybody who's involved around them who has a hand in making this person marketable. So you
Mhm.
think about it, even with Chris Brown, for so long, he just couldn't get deals. Like, even certain things that he may get, they'll take away from him
Yeah.
because, oh, well, you was once seen 10, 15 years ago as somebody who beat Rihanna. And you can actually Google that image of them in that car with her face all beat up and bloody. Like, it's not a good look. And so yeah, it sucks when you're that person because you can't hide from the paparazzi. You can't hide from people who are just constantly looking at you to see what you're doing, your every next move. So it's really about protecting their image. But I also think that they should be mindful that you are being watched. You
Right.
can't be this big figure thinking that you can go out there and do something crazy. Even when I think it was a recent girlfriend that he had, paparazzi is like from afar with these extra magnifying like
Yep.
cameras that can see you on the balcony choking your girlfriend out or having an argument with her, and you thinking nobody watching, but shit, somebody's always watching. They waiting for you to have that next
Yeah.
move to where you mess up. So it's harder. It's,
Yeah.
it's it's hard for them, and it's hard for just normal people too, because your image as well as a normal person. You don't want to be seen as the person that gets beat up all the time by their boyfriend or their girlfriend. And if you're getting beat up by your girlfriend, now you like you a weak dude because, oh, how's she beating up on you? You the man. You don't supposed to get beat up. So it's all about image, I think, at the end of the day. And it's a lot of other factors too, like y'all said.
But
Mhm.
I think you bring a good point to mind. It's like it's a lot about image. Because then you just kind of brought up Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah.
When you look at Johnny Depp, you'd be like, him getting beat up? No, never. But then all the pictures came up and and then you saw her speaking, and then she made no sense because like she was just blatantly lying out there. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. They were both toxic. But it just seemed like out of the two of them, she was the one that got physically violent. Like he just seemed like he was toxic, and he was the type to be like, I'm drunk, I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna destroy my house. But he was violent towards physical things, like just objects, not actual people. So there's different kinds of violence, and I think a lot of people didn't want to believe him because he's a man, and they were like,
Yeah.
no, he didn't get beat up because look at him, he's so strong and he's so.
Right.
And it's
He
like you
has
start
to be the
hearing her,
abuser.
right, and then you start hearing her, and you're like, hold on a second, she sounds kind of crazy too. And so
Bitches can be crazy. It's a lot of females out here who are like burning people's items up,
yes.
slashing tires, messing up their cars, just going completely like berserk on these men. And it's like,
Keying people's cars.
keying people's cars. And yeah, so
Shane Williams.
Yeah, every
wait a
story.
minute. We ain't throwing nobody's name out there. Ain't nobody did none of that type of stuff. I don't know what y'all talking about. But
I'm
anyways,
just
it happens. And and
yeah.
sometimes people just be at their wits' end. Maybe they not a violent person, but maybe they just had a moment where they snapped and they just key the
Yeah.
car. They probably don't always
But that
key
happens too.
cars.
I think that happens too, and people fail to realize that a lot of victims of domestic violence don't speak out. So once they do, kind of snap, end up doing crazy stuff, burning a house, burning a person, keying a car, shooting another person, they're like, oh, well, he was so good to her. And it's like, no, you never knew what she was living inside of her house. Like you didn't know she was getting beat up every weekend. You didn't know all this, but all of a sudden, oh, she snaps, and oh my God, like people want to act like it's a crazy thing.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. And that just makes me think about all the news stories that, have come up, like, even before, just thinking about the people who left their spouses because they were in that bad situation. And then next thing you know,
Mm,
this person's trying to find them because, oh, I can't be without you. So if I can't have you, nobody can. It's like, why you just can't
mm,
let people move on if that's what they got to do? Why does it have to end in
right.
somebody dying or getting hurt or getting beat up because you can't fathom them not being with you, or you're so angry that you can't handle certain things that they say. Maybe it's the truth and you don't like the truth. The truth hurt. So when people sit there and stop sugarcoating shit for you, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want to beat you up. Why? Why? Just let people speak their truth and let them move on if they have to.
Because
the abusers also have mental illness. They have problems themselves that they haven't dealt with, and unfortunately they bring it out on other people.
And that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, we all just see the angry person, but we don't see the backstory behind the angry person. Why is this person so angry? Why is this person so violent? You know, there's a story behind it all. But it was a point that you said, Rose. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, mental illness is definitely real. There's people who've been through things as kids that now when they grow up as adults, you know, that's what I was going to say. It takes a lot of growth for people to be able to hear the truth. You know, like like Shay said, you know, it's like, well, you know, when you start telling people the truth, that's when they start getting angry and they start getting upset. And you're like, oh, well, I'm just telling you, you know, the truth. Why? They get defensive. But it takes a very mature person to actually say, you're right.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
And I need to change. And that's why that's why, you know, we have these violent relationships, because it takes a really mature person to admit to something that is wrong with them and to actually want to change it. And I guess that's where, you know, once you realize that part, you can grow from it and say, okay, well, I need to be a better person. And that's when you become a better person. But if you continue to blame people, because that's what they like to do a lot, is blame other people and say, oh, well, you made me do this. You did this and you did that. And if you hadn't done this, I would have done that. No, you are your own self. Just like I can sit up here and yell at you all day, you can sit up here and ignore me as I'm yelling. But everybody's not.
Even if you feel like you got to yell back, okay, cool. But it shouldn't even lead to you feeling like you got to put your hands on somebody at the end of the day. I understand like anger is an emotion. You know, we have all these different emotions that we go through. Okay, cool. But at the end of the day, I can curse you out all day, but that don't mean I'm gonna put my hands on you. I'm just expressing how I feel. And then vice versa. And then you have people who, which somebody brought this to my teacher the other day, like you have people who be like, oh, I like when they choke me. I like when they hit me. But like
that's different. That's different. That's different. Don't yuck people's yums, but it's different.
I'm not trying to yuck. I can understand if it's like, oh, in the bed, you getting choked in the bed, but it's different when you're like having an argument and he knocked the shit out of you. And now all of a sudden you got a black eye. Now all of a sudden you're getting choked out to the point where you can't breathe, and then he lets you go. You almost lost your fucking life. Oh, I like that. No, because at the end of the day, if you die and he go to jail, he ain't gonna be able to say, well, Your Honor, she likes when I choke her. She wants me to hit her. She tells me she likes it. You still gonna go to jail.
I think that, those are two very different. I think those are two very different kind of aspects. One of them is actual violence.
People are condoning the violence because it's still violence at the end of the day. If you get an argument with somebody and you slap the person or you hit them, yeah, sure. And I guess my point was to say that it's a problem with the other person too, mentally, because why is that okay for you to sit there and say you like to get beat on? Like, that's not okay.
Hold on. Let me pause you right there, because I like some kinky shit. I like getting hit. I like getting slapped. I like my hair getting pulled. But it's very different. That's
in the middle of an argument.
No,
in the middle of an argument. That's what I'm talking about. In an argument.
But that's what I'm saying. It's very different to acknowledge sexually and ask your partner to pull your hair or slap your butt or whatever it is, bite your tip, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be.
Don't slap my face.
Bite my tit.
No, not my face. But you know, everybody has different things that turns them on. So I think that's different than actually saying, oh, I enjoy it when they beat the shit out of me. Like,
no, baby, you have a problem. You need therapy too.
So like they
a
real argument and getting slapped and they like literally getting
right.
That's toxic. Straight up.
Yes, it
And I
really
think
is.
I think they both need help, to be honest, because it's not okay from any point. It's not okay for you to sit there and want to get beat the hell up when y'all are
We're
having
gonna
an
do a
argument and
poll.
you say it's okay.
We're
And
gonna do a
then
poll this
it's
week, and it's gonna be asking people that. Do you like getting hit when you're arguing? Because I gotta hear this.
Because this is honestly, I was gonna ask you. I was like, do you really know a person who enjoys getting hit, Shay?
so it's
Like,
not that I know them. It's just I was having a conversation with somebody, and somebody said that she overheard this girl basically saying, like, okay, I'm gonna say it's a sister, it's a brother and a sister, right? So they're relatives, and then there's the girlfriend of the brother. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the girlfriend of the brother was like telling the sister, you don't like to get hit. Oh, I love when he hit me. Like, oh, I love when he do this to me. And the girl was like, hell no, I don't like, I'm not gonna let nobody beat on me like that. Like it was a conversation was
That's not
over
no.
her.
She may have been talking sexually though. So I would definitely want to hear more about that conversation because it sounds like sexually. Like I wouldn't be so giddy about somebody slapping me in the middle of an argument. Like I couldn't be that giddy. Like oh yeah.
mm-mm.
I don't know. You know what? And
Uh-uh.
I'm not about to go ask them either because it wasn't my
Be
information
like,
to even
ma'am,
tell.
we be like, ma'am, we need you to do more research. Don't give us the half-ass story. We need the full story.
Go over there with my phone, be recorded. Hey, so I have a podcast. By the way, do you like to get beat up in the middle of an argument? Just want to know because the people want to know.
The people want to know, yes.
We should just go around asking
I'm a
people
whole reporter. Yes, we
what they
should.
say because I'm intrigued now.
I might do
Yes, me
that in my
too.
free time. I might do that in my free time.
What free time?
I
Because
know, right?
face, I'm turned off at this. That's red flag.
Yes. And
Mm-mm.
even look, even sexually, you have to be turned on to a specific point for you to enjoy that.
Yeah.
It can't just be like we're just getting started and you're slapping my ass. I'm like, well, oh, wait a minute. The fuck kind of shit is that? I'm not even there yet.
Or in the middle of some shit, you just backhand the fuck out of you. Just, God damn, that
Yes,
was hard.
no.
Hold on. That was a little hurt. That hurt.
It has to be consenting. Yes, because sometimes they do be grabbing your hair a little too hard. You're like, wait a minute. You consent to that. Can't be pulling my hair that hard.
I'd be like, how long? If my edges pull from the middle. It's the strong part.
Mm-mm. Like your scalp crack and shit.
Oh, that's definitely a thing. The scalp crack, you can feel your shit, your roots getting pulled and shit.
Warm up, shoot.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to warm it up before you start doing that stuff. You can't just go into crazy mode from the beginning. Like it don't work that way.
Start your
Start choking
car,
the bitch out.
you start your car in the wintertime and you just be like, drive, hold up.
Let it warm up a bit. You're gonna fuck up your damn engine. Just hold on.
Yeah.
Damn shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh man,
I'm really intrigued about this lady now.
that is
Look,
funny. I
I
want to
just
know.
it was just it's
I-
somebody's neighbor who I know. So I don't know.
That's
Who likes
crazy.
getting beat up? Yeah, there's got to be some kind of psychological issue if somebody likes getting hit during an argument. It's that's weird.
And it could stem back to them seeing their mom get beat up, and how her mom may have handled it. And I mean, things like that do take into account. If you see your mama growing up getting beat on by somebody, they'll either make you feel like negative towards it, or you might see a different perspective
Mm.
towards it. Who knows how she handled it?
Yep.
I think that's kind of what made me the way I am, because I grew up in a situation like that in a sense. So it's like I'm gonna stand up for myself no matter what, because I saw my mama stand up for herself in a lot of situations. But I also saw like, oh, I don't want to be with these type of people either, because they make you have to put yourself in that position, and I don't want to be put in that position.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's why I said, I'm like, you have to understand, like when you see these people as adults acting like this, you have to think about what did they see growing up? A lot of people grow up, seeing their mother get beat up, their father get beat up. So some kids grow up to be adults that think that it's okay. And when I say it's okay, that means the males think it's okay to beat on a woman. Or if the woman sees their mom beating up on their dad, they think it's okay to beat up on a dad. Or if the girl grows up seeing, the dad beating on the woman, they think it's okay for a man to beat on them. Or they can grow up with a defense mechanism where it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna start beating him up first so that he doesn't beat me up first. You know? So everything, that's why I said everybody has their own story. That's why I don't like to judge people a lot, because I'm like, I really, when I look at people in those type of situations, I'm like, what? I ask myself, what brought you here? Like, how did you get to this point? And you have those people that grow up in households where the mom respects the dad respects the mom, and they still grow up to be violent people. I don't know. I mean, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
very weird, but that's why I always tell people, be careful who you meet and who you decide to marry, because at the end of the day, the first 1 year, 2 years, they put on this facade.
Yeah.
And you may see their true colors at the beginning, you may not. But eventually, if you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, them true colors gonna start coming out. You're gonna see them red flags.
Yeah. People
And
can always put on this persona in the beginning, but eventually that persona gonna wear off, and who you really are is gonna actually come out. So if you got a drinking problem, if you got a drug problem you've been trying to hide, if you got an anger issue, if you got communication issues, all that's gonna come out eventually. It's only gonna be like that for so long. And I also think that it takes a certain type of person, like on a mature level, to recognize, like, hey, this is a problem that needs to be fixed, because people can go along and think that what they're doing is okay for so long. But I think at some point you have to decide for yourself how you want to be.
Yep.
I know before I got into my current relationship, the way I probably communicated or addressed my feelings was probably not the best way. But then I ended up getting into counseling and then talking about it with my therapist, and just she helped me navigate through my feelings so that I can express them, and then just really learning how to understand that other person and how they communicate, and like, how you can address that. And I think it takes like a certain level of understanding yourself to know, like, okay, this is my problem. How do I fix it to move forward? A lot of
Yeah.
people, they say they want help and then they never go get it. They say they want to
Mhm.
change and they never actually seek change. And I think you have to be a
Right.
certain type of person to actually go out there and say, I'm going to put my best foot forward to be different.
Right.
Even though this happened, I have to be different. Even though
Yep.
my mom was this way, I have a daughter, I don't want to be like that way or show her these type of things.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you take that shit too far, it's some shit you can't come back from. So it's best to fix it before you even reach that point to where you can't come back from it.
Yep. That's true.
Oh, this is a topic. This is one that touches the soul a little bit.
Girl, I thought you listened to another song. I was like, we cannot hear it, Shay.
I think it also takes a lot for the victim to leave. And sometimes that's the hardest, for the victim to acknowledge that they are with an abuser, to acknowledge that abusers are always going to tell you they're going to change and they're not changing. So yes, good for like if the abuser is seeking help, good. But like you said, they have to show that there is some kind of change. And I don't mean 2 months changing and, oh, I'm back, baby, I'm going to change so you don't leave me for 2 or 3 months. And then same thing happens again. And then you're in a cycle where this person keeps abusing you and telling you they're going to change. And then they keep trying to, that makeup period. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle of abuse. So I think it also takes a lot for the victim to say, this is it. Like, I need to leave this person before it becomes worse, before, something bigger happens to either one of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's very, what's the word? What's the other term for manipulative? It's very manipulative for somebody to sit here and just to get you back. They say, oh, I'm willing to do this, this, and this to change because I want this relationship to work. I really want to see, us flourish. And then it's like, oh, I get you back. Now I'm back to my same habits. No, I mean, and you, like you said, the victim needs to be aware of that too. Give some people probationary periods. Okay, cool. You said you're going to change. Let's see in about 3 months if there's a difference. Let's see in about 6 months if there's a difference. And if there's not a difference that I can see based on what you said you were going to work on it, that you was going to change, and I'm out. Because I'm not wasting no more time to be playing these games and this, oh, I hope but he changes. Oh, he got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. And I think it's all an emotional attachment too, because you do get emotionally attached to people. You see what you think they could be or what the relationship could be. You have this idea of, oh, well, we used to be like this, but not really seeing currently how the situation is. And I think people are tied to what if, or the thought of what could be, versus actually
the past,
acknowledging
too.
how somebody currently is and how they're showing up currently.
So
Right.
there's one thing, and what you're mentioning right now, Shay, is how, there's a pattern. They tell you all the things you want to hear when you get ready to leave. And they say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. There's one thing that I took with me when we did our podcast with the Trill Academy. Shout out to the Trill Academy real quick.
Hey.
There's one thing that stuck to me, and it was because I never could understand why men, when women were getting ready to walk out the door, they always wanted to like, now you want to act right. Now you want to reel us back in. And there's one thing that was said, and that's because men see it as a competition. It's kind of like they don't really want you back. They just don't want nobody else to have you.
Mm.
And that's what it is, because they sit up here and they say, okay, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to do this right. But the minute you're back, okay, I got her now. Nobody else got her. I got her back. They go back to doing the same thing. And like Rose said, it's a repetitive cycle. And the only time you see the change is when the person actually wants to change. And this is the thing. If the person actually wants to change, you're not going to have to tell them what to do.
Exactly.
Right.
They gonna already know what to do.
Right. And they're going to be consistent with it.
Yep.
Sad story. I don't know why.
And that just brings me back to just people knowing, like, and taking ownership and accountability for their parts. If you know that you got some things to work on, then go to therapy. Do what you got to do to fix yourself mentally. So that way, like you said, ain't nobody got to tell you what to do. People already know where their downfall is. Nobody has to tell you. You really see yourself for really who you are. You really just be lying to yourself on a day, trying to hype yourself up to be somebody that you're really not. And in reality, you know how you really are showing up to the picture. I mean, to the whatever. You know how you showing up.
Yep.
So that comes back to people telling you the truth. So if I sit here and say you behaving like this, you could be in denial all you want to, but in reality, you know I'm telling the truth. And it's the fact that I'm pointing out to you is what you don't like. Because I'm supposed to be blind.
That's when people
that's
when people become defensive and angry and they want to yell and scream and be like, "Oh!" Defensive is also defensive. It's a mechanism of people coping. So when I see people get all defensive, it's like that's one of the things I've worked on. I think we've talked about it before. I tend to easily get my wires kind of turned on. I get heated very quickly. So now I've learned to kind of just watch people. And they say there's this saying in Spanish that kind of translates to who is dumber, the person that's screaming at you or you for screaming back. And I'm like, if you want to be stupid and talk stupid, I'm gonna let you do that. I'm just gonna sit here and nod my head or just be like, okay, I'm not even gonna disagree with you anymore. Like I'm learning how to not disagree with people and just let people talk their heads off.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a lot of growth. That takes a lot of growth right there.
It does.
It takes a lot of inner strength to not like yell back at somebody and be like, you fucking dumbass.
And you just
because that's what I want to say most of the time.
There and you're like, I could say so much shit right now, but I'm not.
Yep.
I'm
and
just
people know what to say.
I'm learning the Stephanie glare. Just okay.
And I think people know what to say to get a rise out of you. Like even when you ignoring somebody, you can just try to be and I be telling myself, bro, I be so tired of being a bigger person half the time because it takes a lot to be the bigger person. When you really want to like stoop to somebody's level, but it's like, why am I doing that? In reality, when I just, I'm just trying to be the bigger person here, but people will sit here and just nag at you, text you crazy things, just be going just continuously like saying all kind of stupid shit just to get a rise out of you. And it takes a lot to just not. It takes a lot.
You have to protect your own mental health and your own behaviors and beings. And I think the older they get, the more I recognize that I have to protect myself. My whole like, why am I gonna let somebody piss me off for something that's like out of my reach or something that I can't do? Like it is what it is. That's one of my my wife's favorite kind of saying, it is what it is. And I'm like, I see now, because she's a Pisces, she and I'm like, I see now.
Just rolls with the waves.
Yes. And I'm like, I see why you say it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to change somebody else's perspective.
Yeah. That's true. Fact. All right, cool. That was a good question. That was a good first question. It kind of went into a lot of different things, but I think overall that was a really good question. All right, so next question. So let's see. So domestic violence is obviously a serious topic, like it's nothing that should be taken lightly. Do you think that because these people who are in the spotlight, that they may face more consequences?
Yes. I mean, do they?
Sometimes.
Let me see. Let me think about the question. Domestic violence.
You know what? I don't think so. Wait, so are they may face? So I don't think they do. I think because they're in a spotlight, if you think about it, people who are celebrities get a lot less jail time for their actions. They do all kinds of money laundering, tax evasions, domestic violence. Just think about it. Now they fucking get us probation half the time. Nobody actually does
Not money
legit jail time.
laundering.
Except for R. Kelly. R. Kelly got time.
How
But
much?
that's because they wanted him to be the poster child for that, for telling all these the industry saying you're not gonna get away with that shit. But think about how long he got away with it
Exactly.
before people actually started saying, that's he's a monster and this is what's happening. It's the number of women that had to rally up against him for him to get jail time.
Yeah. And the sad part is like it's a lot of victim shaming going on in this day and age. It's like you can't be a victim without somebody was like, oh, well, what did you do? What did you wear? What did you say to them to make them do this? Like, why does it matter what I wore? Why does it matter what I said? At the end of the day, his actions is what's the problem here. It's not what I wore or what I said, but it's a lot of victim blaming. And I really, really hate that for us and I think that makes it harder for people to come forward and say, hey, this happened to me, because at the end of the day, it's going to take more people to say this happened to me by the same person for somebody to believe you. And that's sad.
Yep. Facts.
You have rape victims who can't even say they were raped because it's like I said, oh, what did you drink? What was there a party? Why was you at the party? What time was it? Like, it's all kind of factors that they try to make it seem like the victim is the problem versus the aggressor.
And I think it also kind of plays this at, all these victims too. A lot of them don't know the kind of gravity of what they're doing. So I think, and I'm going to be the devil's advocate. And we have men that have been sentenced for stuff they haven't done because somebody claimed that they got raped, or somebody claimed that this man sexually abused them, or domestic violence. And it's these crazy women. And let me take that back. I'm not going to say crazy. We just want to call them crazy because it's one in a million that go out here and lie on these men. And they're saying, oh, he hit me. He did this to me. And they either get somebody else to punch him, do it themselves, or do something where it seems like they've done it. And now you're ruining a person's life, because that's really what you're doing. Now this person has a whole thing on their face, on their name, because now, oh, he's the abuser, or he did that. And I think that happens a lot too in the industry, where women want to get famous. They want to get their 5 minutes of fame, and they're like, oh, he touched me. Oh yeah, I slept with him. Or yeah, he threw something in my drink. And then you find out that it wasn't true, that they just wanted the 5 minutes of fame. So I think it also, we have to kind of remember that sometimes. So I think when I hear about these domestic abuses, I'm always like, I don't know the full facts of the story. So I kind of not have an opinion until I hear like what happened, the case and stuff. Like the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna, they were in an argument in the vehicle. Apparently she hit him too. They were both getting violent towards each other. They were both being physically violent, but of course he's a man. He's gonna hit her a lot harder,
Yeah.
Was it right for him to hit her? No. But was it right for him to hit him? No.
No. I agree. Yeah. And that's where I say, like, that I guess that's where women have the what do you I guess there's a bias there, because it's always, okay, the woman can hit the man and it's okay, but when the man hits the woman, that's when it becomes a problem. And some women take advantage of that, and they use it. Kind of like what's his name? The guy that just with the pillar kind. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. The guy that comes out in the movies that just got sentenced.
It wasn't was this Jesse? No, what was his name? I know who you're talking about though. He was the one that was in Marvel movies. He was
the Marvel movies that got taken away from him. I can't remember.
Oh, the black
'Cause we were
dude.
yes.
I get it. Okay, I
I
can't
can't
think of his
remember.
name either, but I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But him,
Yes.
for instance, like we literally saw the video where this lady is chasing him down the street. Like,
And the fact that he
but
shoved her in the car was his demise.
it's like I'm getting her off. It could have been him getting her off of him. Like, girl, move. Like, what is he supposed to do? Just sit there and take the beatings? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You don't know if she had a heel in her hand that could have swapped him.
Jonathan Majors.
That guy. Yes,
Yes.
that guy.
I was like, I gotta get it. Yeah.
But yes, it's stuff like, and now she's suing him for something else. And I'm like, girl, let it go. Like,
See, it's more to it than just him,
I
whatever she
believe
says,
so.
because you want to go at the, like, at this point,
you
he's
know
already,
why? Girl, come on now. You know, he done went and left her for another black woman. That's why she mad.
how dare he?
She's a scorned lover.
Yeah. How
That's
dare he
exactly
leave
what it
me?
is.
I'm gonna show
Because
him.
But
he's
see,
already doing time. So what
and
else is
it
going?
why is she not doing time then?
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
So
It's a bias. This girl literally chased him. We got videos of her chasing him down the street.
And
But she's not getting charged.
And in some instances, you see that certain things as self-defense. Like if you got video footage of this woman chasing this man down the street, and if he just so happens to turn around and smack her ass, I feel like that's his fucking right. Like, get off my back. Like, what are you doing? Like, calm down. Like, why are you doing this to me? But it's just like, I guess they don't have the option to plead self-defense. Like, you're a big black guy, and this little helpless, defensive white girl. Like, oh, she couldn't have possibly been this aggravating to you. Like, no, you never know what goes on behind closed doors or how much.
But that's what you get for dating a white girl.
And you know what's so sad is like my fiance, he's like a big old teddy bear, and he's a big guy. Y'all have seen him, so he's a big guy. And like when we,
he's not that big. Still, he's not that big.
Linebacker,
Make it seem like he's.
I mean, let's put it not that big. Like he ain't 600-pound life big, but I'm saying he can come off as very intimidating.
Yeah,
especially as a black man.
Yeah.
So I never understood like why he keeps his temper so cool in like the most like situations that I'd be like, I would have flipped, you know. And one day, like he told me, he said, you got to understand. He said, I'm black and I'm big. And he's like, if I whoop somebody's ass, it's gonna be my fault.
Yeah.
And when he told me that, I never looked at it because I'm little bitty ass Steph, black. I'm a black girl, of course. And if I start a fight with a white girl, it'd probably be my fault too. But I never thought ever that was the reason why he kept his cool. I thought he was just like, all right, I thought he was just that emotionally intelligent.
But it does. But he is, because it does take a lot to actually just remain calm and understand that you're a liability.
It takes a lot of emotional intelligence to realize that. But it's like it's the fact that you actually had to think about it like that like I was like, wow, like you have to act like. And he played football for a very long time. And I'm like, you've been feeling this way since before you became an adult. You knew that this is how you had to act before you became an adult. And I was like, wow, like that's crazy to me. Like, and I'm like, I tell him, I was like, I would never put you in a situation where you like, I tell him all the time, if a dude call me a bitch, let him call me a bitch. I'm not going to be offended if you don't jump to my defense. Cause I don't want you to jump to I want you to go home with me, you know? So, but it's just him like actually having that mentality. Like I'm a big dude and I'm black.
Yeah.
Like I can't act a fool out here.
I actually applaud him for having that awareness, because a lot of people don't. And
they don't.
I don't know if it's education that takes to the fact. I don't know if it's just social recognition, like whatever it is.
I don't know.
Applaud him for knowing that. It sucks that he can't really, like, if somebody called you a bitch, maybe hit you or something. I don't know. I don't know how he should or shouldn't react in that situation. Like if it'll benefit him because somebody hit you and you stepping up, to defend your girl, or if it's going to be looked at differently. I don't know, but it takes a lot of awareness to know, like, hey, these are two factors that are against me, and because of that, I can't react how most people would. You can probably be a big white guy and it still won't have the same effect.
It won't. And that's the sad part. I'm like, how you could be a big white guy? You could be a big white guy against a little bitty black dude. The black
Yeah,
dude still be in the wrong.
yeah,
Still.
yeah. Because obviously we're always known as the aggressors, like
It could be a
since
big black
slavery.
guy against a Hispanic, and the white dude still gonna win. Trust me, I've seen that situation.
Mm,
I just had a cousin that passed away behind that. And
mm.
I'm like, come on, bro. That guy actually, that white guy that actually, let me not go too deep into the situation, but that guy actually thought that he could get away with what he did.
Because
You
of his
know,
privilege.
there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
But
It
he
And
also
didn't,
doesn't
right?
take two.
He didn't, right?
what?
He didn't get
He
away
didn't
with
get
it.
away with it, but I think that in his mind,
He thought he could.
he thought he could.
Mm.
And I mean, it's still not a sealed deal. I'm not gonna say he can get away with it, but I think in his mind he thought he could.
Mm.
And it's sad. It's it's really sad because some of these, I mean,
Yeah.
some people have gotten away with it. Let's put it like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Mhm.
true.
Yeah.
You got to think about the days when we didn't have cameras.
That's what I was gonna say. It's now that we have those cameras and now that we have those videos, it's like just going back to Jonathan Majors, like what would have happened if that video wasn't there? People would have just thought
Exactly.
that he went all out and hit her and abused her and and not knowing the fact that she's the crazy little thing too. Like she's got her own little temper. Like people don't understand it because of course she's gonna comb her hair, look all nice, and put on her suit jacket to go to court and act like, oh my God, he hit
She
me.
played victim on the
I did
video.
nothing. I did nothing and he hit me.
She played victim. There was a part of the video where she actually played victim when people, like, she was chasing them at first, and then people were there, and she started acting like she would, like he was the problem. Like, oh my God, help me!
Bitch, you running away. He running away from you. What do you think? What do you need help with?
First
Like,
of all, why
just
did he
stop
put her
chasing
in a
him.
car? Like I would have ran away from her ass. Like
She would
I
have been
wouldn't even
finding an
have.
Uber home. Fuck that shit.
I would have left her in the middle of the road. I've been known to leave people in the middle of the road. So I would have just, bye.
It's just so
We ain't
sad. It's
doing
really
this.
sad how our minority men have to deal with these type of situations. But anyway, I think this was more about celebrities.
I
We
think
going to
that, yeah, I was gonna say, just to bring us back to it, just even with this conversation, when it comes to people in the spotlight, I think the determining factor about the consequences really relies on their race too. Because how many
Mhm.
people who are white who's in similar situations and it doesn't really, they don't get jail time, they get probation. It's a lot of stuff that's going on to where the African American, even in the spotlight, they get harsher sentences. So they might get more jail time. Like you said, R. Kelly was the poster child for like, this is what's going to happen if you do this. But how many other people? He's not the only one in that industry. It's been so many.
Mm.
Did Charlie Sheen come out like with some shit where he did something with some minors or something happened? And
Well, Bill Cosby got away with it too. He raped a number of women and he's out of jail. Bill Cosby didn't get no, he was there
but
for a
he
couple of
did get
Mm-hmm.
years and
jail
he's out.
time.
But he's
He did
out. He
get
didn't
jail
do his
time.
full time.
Yeah, but
He didn't.
I guess my point was he got jail time. It's not a
He
lot
got
of people
jail
that
time
get jail
and
time.
he lost a lot of money.
I
And
want
it's
to know
not a
why he's
lot of
out.
them. I
He
mean,
should
maybe
not
because
be
he didn't
out.
murder somebody. So I think, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get into it because I ain't trying to
He
argue
he
about
he drugged
it.
and raped a number of girls, young
Drug them
girls,
and raped
drugged
them.
them and raped them. Yep. At one point, I think he's a little worse than R. Kelly because R. Kelly had a lot of them just sober. He was just brainwashing them. This man was drugging them and raping them.
Yeah. Ugh.
I think what I have the issue with the Bill Cosby situation is the color of the people that claim that they were getting
There were
drugged.
all
And
types of colors,
I'm
though.
not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's a
It
lot
was
of
all types. Him and R. Kelly, they don't discriminate. They like them all colors in
look.
all sizes.
I ain't gonna judge neither one of them because I don't know the full story. I don't. I can't. I wasn't a part of the jury. I wasn't a
I
part of none
think
of that. I
if
can't
enough
judge it.
people are claiming
Look,
it and they all have
and
similar stories,
God rest his soul, but Michael Jackson has some shit that came about him too. He
I
just
think
he
Michael
just not here. He does not
Girl,
heal.
Leave Michael alone. I don't think Michael's
Hey,
this
if we
real low.
talking
I think
about
they were just trying to
people,
get him.
if we talk about people brainwashing people, people said that, they convinced them to bring their kids to what was it called? What was this place
Ranch.
called?
Yeah, the
It was
ranch.
called, it had a name for it though. It wasn't called just the ranch.
Neverland. Was it Neverland?
Neverland. Same
Yeah.
situation with R. Kelly. You have these parents bringing their kids because it's R. Kelly. Oh, just go hang out with them. Oh, go spend a night with Michael Jackson. It's Michael Jackson. Like,
But
whatever.
I think Michael Jackson, like if you looked at him, he was himself somebody that was traumatized. He had a lot of trauma in his life. And with him, it's like you see that he didn't look like a normal person. Like he wasn't a grown up. Like he was a child. He was, I don't know, he was like a child. So
I
I
just
think
keep thinking about his
he
voice
might
in my head.
yes. And that wasn't his real voice. A lot of people said he had like a deep bass when he talked. He just used that voice for his artistic voice because they said he had like a bass in his voice when he talked.
Yeah.
But I think it was I think he was so abused that in his head, like he wanted to stay at a certain stage of his life. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe that he touched these kids. And if he did, I don't think it was malignantly. Like, I don't think it was like him trying to sexually pleasure himself from them. I mean, he barely, I don't know. I don't know about these kids that say they're his kids. I don't even know how he had them because
Look,
I
because
don't know.
none of them look mixed. And I'm saying Michael Jackson originally is a brown skinned man. I don't care how much he bleached his skin. Your bleach does not change your actual genetics. And for you to have Blanket, who was a full grown white girl,
So is Paris.
and so, yeah, so I'm just like, hey, but if he said them his kids, I ain't gonna argue with the man. Anybody could have
None of those
kids,
babies have any kind of melanin on their, no pigment.
But
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Maybe he couldn't have kids, so he was just welcoming whatever that came along.
Maybe they were like just genetically test tube babies, like petri dish babies. Maybe they weren't really, I don't know, because
I feel like all of these people are guilty to a certain extent. There's something
Yeah.
you did that got you to where you were. Were you completely guilty? I don't think so. I think there's other people that should have came down with them.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to put
Yeah.
all the blame on these people. I think R. Kelly, there should have been people that went down with him. I think he couldn't have done all of that by
They're
himself.
He
enablers.
didn't.
He couldn't have hit that for that long by himself. Bill Cosby
The
is the
parents
same.
knew. The parents knew. You
Exactly.
gotta know.
So I'm not saying none of these people are innocent. All I'm saying is there's other people that should have went down with them. They're not the only ones that should have taken the blame for it.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I'm gonna say. With Michael, I'm gonna let him rest in peace.
Yeah. I just brought it up is because it was just part of the conversation about legends and stuff.
I'm gonna let Mike rest in peace.
What was this guy, the one that committed suicide in jail, the one that had the whole island? Murdoch was it? No, Murdoch is the other one, the attorney that killed his. What was his name?
Murdoch is another story.
Yes,
OJ is another story.
We gotta talk OJ one of these days. What's his name?
That owned the island?
Yeah, he had a whole private island, and they said it was like a sex island where all the presidents and all the people of money came.
Oh, I was about to say Hugh Hefner, but I was like, no, that's not Hugh Hefner.
First of all, Hugh Hefner is a pimp, okay? He ain't gonna do nothing without nobody knowing what the fuck going on.
He said consent first.
Hey, a pimp. I'm about to have 50 bitches up in here, and they all about to know. They all about to
Rest
know
in
what's
peace,
going
Hugh
on.
Hefner.
Hugh Hefner, he was such a pimp that he had people wanting to be a playgirl bunny, whatever it's called, Playboy bunny. People wanted to be in that mansion, okay? Knowing what the fuck was going on. That's a pimp. That's a pimp right there. You can't knock that man at all.
He said we both made money out of your body.
Look, he's so much a pimp. I have a Playboy bunny tatted on me right now because I wanted to be in that house too. I wanted to fuck not fuck him, but I just wanted to be in the room. I just wanted to be there.
Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein. He's the one that had the whole island. And they're saying they called it pedophile island.
Oh Lord. Not pedophile.
But he committed suicide in jail. He ended up killing himself, I think. I think he ended up killing himself. He was sick or something like that, and I think he ended up committing suicide.
That's sad.
But we can move on to the other question.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So next question, last question. Do you think that the person accused of domestic violence has the right to redeem themselves? I think anybody should be able to redeem themselves as long as they have not shown a pattern of continuation. You can't redeem yourself if you're still doing the same shit. Like, no, you can't.
I agree, and I think that's why it's a little hard for me to kind of believe Chris Brown. Like he's a good artist. I like his music, but come on now. Like when you have three different women that they're claiming that you're, abusing them, that it's a pattern, like you said. Like first, okay, we understand the Rihanna thing might have been because y'all were young and dumb and in love, and it was, some toxic shit between you and Rihanna, but then you have your baby mama, and then she's claiming, abuse, and then you have another baby mama that's claiming abuse, and I'm like, come on, Chris Brown. At this point, I'm not gonna let you redeem yourself. You suck as a person. There's obviously you're obviously an abuser. Your music is cool, but I wouldn't pay a single dollar to go see you sing because I'm not gonna support you. Yeah. So if it was maybe their first time,
was it Karrueche and who was the third one? Who was his baby mama?
I don't know.
Girl, he got like three of them. I don't know. They all look the same. I couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna say this with Chris Brown. I really was never a fan of Chris Brown. Even when he was like when we were teenagers and stuff, and he was popular and stuff, I wasn't
you can run it.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Chris Brown. I don't know. I just saw the immaturity in him. Like he just came off as a very immature artist. He's kind of like Bow Wow. Like they became very famous at a very young age, and they just had everything handed to them to where they felt like they could get away with a lot. And
Bow Wow's not good though. I don't think I've heard a lot about Bow Wow.
I haven't heard nothing either, to my knowledge.
Well, I've seen Bow Wow on some of the reality shows, and he's not very mature. Yeah, he's not very mature. He has some growing up. At
least he ain't beating them bitches though. That's the main thing. You can be very immature, but don't put your hands on nobody.
That's the thing. You saying at least he ain't beating them bitches. We don't know because these bitches may not be talking.
I mean, they had all the time to say something. If everything that came out now, why not something come about
do you know how many bitches getting? Do you know how many bitches getting beat up in the industry right now that ain't saying shit? It's a lot.
That's true. Yeah. Or that sign NDAs, they get paid not to say anything.
That is also. So
it's like I beat you up, but sign down $3 million.
Because if you think
you're gonna get your $3 million.
Exactly.
I get to hit you. You get your money.
You get that money.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I hate to say this, but we brought up P. Diddy earlier, right? I have not seen Carisha Please. I haven't seen Carisha. Carisha
be posting, but she don't post anything regarding Diddy no more. I
don't see Carisha Please. Where's Carisha Please? Where the last episode at?
You know what? Because he is one of the producers on that show. He is, yeah.
Of all their faces. Well,
what I'm saying is he could have been doing the same thing to Carisha Please, but it's like now he's all in the, he's out there. So now it's stopped. If it wasn't up to him, she would have continued going with it. But it's like, clearly he was funding all of it. So that means if you funded my career, I'm going to let you get away with what you want to get away with.
Look, she did say in the episode that he be peeing on her. And I'm just like, that's kind of far. Like
R. Kelly?
I ain't trying to yank nobody's nose, but that's pretty. Like, why would you? First of all, Carisha is a pretty girl. Like, I get it. She's from the hood.
I thought that was an R. Kelly thing. I didn't know anybody else was doing it out here.
Apparently people be peeing on people. I don't understand the fetish with that. That shit is disgusting. But she said that that's something he likes to do. So for all he knows, he could have been like, I'll give you
protein.
I'll buy you that Rolls Royce real quick that you've been eyeing. Just let me pee on you real quick.
Let me tie my hair up real quick.
Let me tie my hair
for that Rolls Royce.
Oh my God, not to tie your hair up. See, See, that's probably what she fucking said. That's exactly what she said. Go ahead and give me that golden shower.
She was like, okay, daddy.
Okay, daddy.
She probably said, let me put my shower cap on. Make sure you don't go nowhere near my hair.
I just got a fresh press.
That's nasty.
Man.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to understand that it's happening. It's happening. It's just not getting reported as much as it should be. It's a matter of when the money stops coming in. That's when people start
See, and
talking.
that's
'Cause I
a
was
big
gonna say-
factor because if you're gonna sit there and agree to some shit, say for instance, if it was, I'm gonna give you a Rolls Royce for the exchange of me peeing on you. Don't be sitting there coming out 20 years later saying, "Oh, he peed on me and I didn't like it." No, you got something out of that, and you knew what you was getting out of that. That's not the same thing as somebody peeing on you. You're not asking for it, and you're not taking anything in return. It's completely different.
The least you can do is give me a Rolls Royce. That's what you're saying.
Exactly, and make it. Yeah, if you're gonna pee on me, at least let it be worth something. But don't let it be like, oh, well, I didn't ask for that. If it's something you didn't ask for and he just does it, that can make a person feel very dirty about themselves, and you do some shit that they
Yeah.
didn't really like. So
But then
that
that
I
also
can
comes back to
understand.
it goes back to saying, like, R. Kelly, for the longest, he was paying people off to shut up. So a lot of these girls that he paid off actually ended up breaking their NDA to talk. And they were like, I don't care if I gotta pay him back, I'm gonna say my truth. But it's like, come on now. You were okay signing that paper to say I'm gonna take $3 million and I'm gonna be okay with it. But now all of a sudden, because other people are shunning him, you want to go and talk about it. It's like, how much money did he pay off though?
Yeah.
And when you think about P. Diddy, he's like filthy rich. At this point, it's like he's peeing on people to pee on them because he's got money to spare.
Because he's
honestly.
bored. He's bored.
Yes. It's like, what can I do next to satisfy myself? Let me pee on a bitch.
You know
Pay her a little bit
what?
of money.
You know what he fucked up at is where when Cassie came out and said he did this, and that to her, and he paid that bitch off within 24 hours. That's what he fucked up at because that shows your amount of guilt for whatever she was saying that you did. You must have had to do it because otherwise, why would you pay her off so damn fast? You wanted her to that shit to go away, and it did not. Now all of a sudden, everybody like, oh well, he paying off Cassie. Let me tell my story. That's what you fucked up at. You should have probably. I mean, I don't know. As somebody trying to really defend yourself, if you really didn't do shit wrong, you shouldn't have paid
People
her
want
off.
the money.
But
that's really what it is. They want the money. They
that
saw
ain't
she
talking
got paid
about
off.
he did something to Meek Mills. He did something to all these other artists and stuff. I'm like, it's certain niggas I can't imagine them being like, oh, I let Diddy do this. Some of these niggas are real hard. And I'm just like,
they wanted a record deal.
That's crazy. And it's like some dudes I wouldn't even see them as the boy type. Like, can't even see Meek Mills being like, oh, I let Diddy do this to me. Like, what? I didn't even know you like niggas like that.
You'd be surprised.
Child.
Woo! I think
my
so.
God.
Yes.
Oh, God.
You'd be surprised the amount of men that are out there on the DL.
I wanted to say something and I freaking forgot.
I'm speaking.
Look, Diddy.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Before she talked, you did really well with all your other NDAs, but why not give it to somebody that's in the same industry as yourself? Like come on now. You ain't fucked up.
Girl.
Yes.
So before we hopped off the other one, it was something I wanted to mention about P. Diddy because we're talking about him. So the other day he posted like a video with his youngest daughter, the new one, Baby Love or whatever. And somebody was like in the comments, they said that not he trying to do a soft re-entry into the world or whatever. That's my now we still ain't forgot what you did. And it just brings it back to their image, his PR person trying to work hard to get him back into that light of being this type of guy who cares and loves and all this kind of father figure, just showing him with his little baby. But then there's also people who was just like, I bet you all them people who he was around with the kids and stuff in the little daycare while he was playing with his kid, they probably like, I know what you did. Like, we didn't forget, it's only so much you can do to try to redeem yourself after like so much. You can turn your comments off all you want. You can post your kids all you want, but nobody's going to forget what they already saw and what they already heard. So it takes a lot for them to redeem themselves after the fact. You can go out there and probably give all your money to charity. That ain't going to make a damn difference.
It ain't.
And this is my Chris Brown. You remember? I think Steph, you had said how you don't really like him. Chris Brown was he had my heart back in the day. I loved his music. I went to his concerts. He was one of the first concerts I went to.
I'm sorry, Chris. I was not like, let me say this. Like, I just wasn't into his music. back then. And I think me and Chris Brown may be about the same age. But I just wasn't into his music. Like his music gave me new era vibes. And I was always an old, like I always had an old
Also,
head. Yeah. So it was like I was more into the Drew Hills.
So it's a
The
preference.
I thought you could say you were into my girl, my girl, my girl.
I wasn't that old.
Girl,
My mom wasn't that old. No. But it
Girl,
was
no, I
like
love some
Chris
Chris
Brown
Brown.
had more of the upbeat R&B, and I wasn't up to speed with it. It was just too new to me. I was like, like I used to listen to the radio with my mama. So I was like,
You're still
Chris,
enjoying Usher.
I was Usher. Yes. I was into the Ushers. It's 7:00 on the dot. And then here come Chris Brown with and I'm like, he just sounds very immature to me. He sounds very new schoolish. And I ain't with the new school.
To me, I don't think it
So
was really a difference. I think I actually listened to all that. I had the Jagged Edge,
no, you
the
might have
Ja
listened to
Rule.
all of
I
that.
had all
but
of that. So for
you may
me, it's
have
like
you may have adapted quicker to Chris Brown. See, I didn't adapt to him quickly. Like I was a Bow Wow fan, but Bow Wow was more of rap. So with rap,
Yeah, well,
I didn't have an issue. I didn't have an
wasn't that
issue with
big.
rap.
I
You
don't
wasn't?
know.
I was
Now
I was
his rap was immature to me. That was like what the fuck we rapping
I was
about?
a very immature rapper.
girl, I
Bow
love
Wow Wow,
some Bow Wow.
UPA. I was like,
But
what the fuck kind of
I think
music
I
is
was kind of
this?
just in my little young girl stage to where I liked any boys. It really didn't even fucking matter. All them, whatever song they had, I was just like, oh my God. Like listening to Pretty Ricky. I'm just like I can just imagine.
And you know what, Shay?
Weekend.
You know what? That may have been the case. Is that everybody was riding his dick? I've never been a dick rider. I was like always like, not saying that you were. Not saying that you were. That's not what I'm saying.
Not a dick rider.
No, you weren't. All I'm saying is, like, I was never the girl to follow the
He
dude.
was a
that
bandwagon
was, like,
hopper.
bandwagon. Like, you wouldn't hop in his dick. I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, anytime I saw a popular boy and all the girls was on him, I got turned off by it. Like, I wanted the little nerdy guy over here that wasn't getting no attention. That's always what I wanted, because I felt like he was gonna be the one that was gonna give me the attention that I needed. If I got the little guy that was getting all the attention from the girls, he wasn't gonna give me the attention that I needed, because he was gonna be getting it from all the other girls. I didn't like that. So anytime a guy like Chris Brown was like the shit back then, and I was like, Pretty Ricky got my attention. Let me put it like that. I'm gonna just say that.
I bet they did.
Pretty Ricky got my attention.
How that song go? I wanna sex you till you fall fast asleep in the bedroom. Listen to the headboard.
But do you understand that Pretty Ricky?
I'm trying to think who else was out there. Like, who else was out there while Chris Brown was? And I think for me it was like, and I want to say this was around the same era. When it was Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I was more into like the boy bands, I think. I don't know about Bow Wow. I like one or two songs. We're talking about Mario, Omarion.
Mario. Oh my
God. Yes.
Omarion. That's like,
yes. You see,
there was some heartthrobs. Some heartthrobs. Yes.
Okay, so Shay, just sing a Chris Brown song, because I'm trying to think of why I didn't.
I don't know your name, but excuse me, miss. I saw you from across the room. And I gotta admit that you got my attention. You're making me want to say yo.
I don't know. I just didn't like it. It was too.
That was a very famous one.
It was too upbeat to me. It was like, it wasn't like I couldn't have sex to that. Yeah, I couldn't.
You shouldn't have been trying to have sex to that anyway.
You're in your sex era. That's what it was.
That might have been it. That might have been it. He was just too quick. I'm like, look, you look. You know what? That might have been it. Now that I think about it, thank you, Shay. I didn't figure it out why I couldn't get jiggy with Chris Brown. He was just too fast for me, sir. I'm over here.
You're in your sex era.
You trying to have some shit that was slow. No wonder why she like Pretty Ricky
And
and
then
Mario
I
and
had
the Mario.
I had a whole child in
Usher.
2017. When did that
Mm.
song come out? When did that song
Mhm.
come out?
Oh no, I think that's older than 2017 because that's
Yeah, I
one of like
know.
his
That's what
second,
I'm
third album.
saying. I'm saying, like you said, I was in my sixth era and I was pregnant
Mm.
when I was 19. That was way after Chris Brown.
She was still.
Chris
She over
Brown was
there
pumping
having
too hard.
sex to Usher. It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top. Now she's
It
like,
was like,
where
these
you
are my
at? Come over.
confessions.
It's 7 o'clock. Come over.
7, it's 7. Hey, come on, cruise the street. I was being grown. That's what it was. I was being grown. And Chris Brown was just too young for me. Sir, you ain't on my level.
You still giving version. I'm giving that version.
Mm,
That
that's
was.
what it
Oh my
was.
God, I was fast. Oh my goodness.
And see, me, I was just using my imagination. Because I had no idea what any of that shit was. It just sounded
Oh,
really, really
Lord.
nice. It
Yup.
sounded good. I wanted to be girlfriends with all of them.
Oh, wow. Not girlfriends were all of them.
Girl. Yeah. Anyways.
You trying to be like Keely. What's her name? Keely off of 30W?
Okay, that was so
Don't
long
tell
ago.
me.
Who was that? Keely?
Don't tell me you ain't hear that story about Keely. The 3LW, the one with the lisp. I'm getting sick and tired of you broken promises.
I do remember that. Okay.
So
Looking at my
she apparently had a threesome with what's the group with Marquise and Omarion?
B2K?
E2K. She had a
No,
girl she got ran through.
so hold on. I didn't say I want to be with all of them at the same time. I just said I
They
want to
didn't
be
break
with
the
a
promises.
girlfriend. Let's clarify. I never said I wanted to be with
I
all of them
say,
at the same time.
She just wanted to be all their girlfriends.
Yeah, just at different times, not at the same time.
Mm.
Okay,
Let me
girl.
Anytime they
clarify.
had a hit, she wanted to be their girlfriend. Just for those hits. That is on to the next popular one.
She was like, ain't nobody running train on this.
We don't do trains.
Okay, I get it now.
She just wanted to walk the red carpet.
Apparently, Keely was a different story, but that's a different story for a different day.
Mm.
But do we have another question?
I can't get over the list though. The list, the promises.
Promises.
I've never heard her list for the
Hey,
song.
Chris Brown had a
Really?
list too.
You
Really?
never? Ever.
I don't think I
You
knew
never
what
heard
it
the-
was. I don't think I
It
knew what
was, I'm getting sick and tired of you broken promises.
No.
Y'all never heard that?
Maybe they fixed it. I don't know.
No,
I just
girl,
never
go
heard
back
it.
and listen to the song. It sounds just like that.
Looking at your
It was
pages,
like
different numbers.
looking at your pages, looking at the numbers and numbers. It was
Aw.
numbers and numbers. It wasn't numbers and numbers. It was numbers and numbers.
But a lot of these singers don't enunciate when they're singing, so.
And then she was like, play it, please.
I think it gotten better. It's gotten better over the years. I think Chris Brown had a list too for a
The
while.
only time she enunciated was, no, I'm not the one.
Say it again. Oh,
No, I'm not the one.
We are having way too much
what
fun
you
with this woman.
Oh,
All right,
I
y'all.
cannot.
Y'all being bad. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay,
You're the one who's
Mother
talking about this
Bird.
girl with a list.
Mm-hmm.
She knows she got a list. She know.
She gonna say, "Bitch, I'll fix that."
Fissy.
Oh Lord, I need to stop before I go to hell.
I ain't gonna lie. My 2-year-old got a list. He'd be like,
Oh.
That's your karma
He
right
do.
there. That's
He
But
your
it's
might
cute
karma.
when they're little.
yeah, it's cute.
It's
He's
cute
still
when
a
they're
baby.
little.
He's 2. He's supposed to have a list.
He's two. He's two.
You got a list too, goddamn.
He's two.
I see where he get it from.
I'm really praying and hoping he outgrow it.
If anything, you can just put him in speech therapy once he
You were
starts the
talking
first
about-
grade. Have him practice his speaking.
Yeah, he'd be like,
He'll be all right. Shay!
he'd be like, chocolate. Can I have some chocolate? I'd be like,
Oh my
okay,
God,
you
I spit
just
my wine out
you
because I could have
just
sworn you
do.
said that shit with a list too.
No, because he does like he'd be
She
like,
did.
"Has a chocolate." I'm like, it's chocolate. He's like chocolate.
Aw, Steph.
But he's 2. So I'm like, okay, when he
Yes,
gets
he's
3, he
young.
might enunciate. I'm
A
keeping
little
my
better,
fingers
yeah.
crossed. That's why I can't talk about Keely too much.
There's your karma right there, your son.
Mm-mm.
I gotta clean my laptop
Anyways,
off.
we
Clean up her wine that she spilled.
we're closing out, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We want to thank you for tuning into our podcast. Again, if you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel, like and comment. We love feedback. I promise you we do. While you're at it, follow us on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and iHeartRadio. You can also find us through Instagram and TikTok. Please go follow. That's where we put all our updates. You will see everything we're doing all day, every day. Also, if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, or if you'd like to be a guest on our podcast, feel free to email us. Just email us. It's that simple. Again, thank you, and see you next week for your weekly scoop
Serving.
serving.
Not her sounding like Duffy Duck.